The Carol Rogers Show, starring Carol Rogers.
Hello out there, to the Carol Rogers Show. That's me, you're you, and I'm grateful to see you again. It's a wonderful, wonderful evening. I got my BFF here. Did you recognize anybody on that particular picture? That would be my great friend and sister, Miss Camille Metoyer Moten. She's my guest today. Lots of wonderful things to talk about. Don't go anywhere, because we always begin with our Omaha History Minute by Vicki White. Here we go.
Is this Paris, France? Or this Venice, Italy? It's Omaha, Nebraska, in the summer of 1898, when the city was the host of the Trans-Mississippi and International Exposition, otherwise known as the 1898 World's Fair. From June 1st to October 31st in 1898, over 2.5 million people from around the world traveled to Omaha to view over 4,000 exhibits and enjoy world-class social and recreational events. The fairgrounds covered nearly 108 city blocks of land in northeast Omaha. The land was donated by Omaha banker Herman Kuntz. The European-style structures were temporary by design and were constructed out of plaster and horsehair, among other pliable materials. A Venetian-style lagoon was built in the middle of the Grand Court to complete the European theme of the fair. A much talked-about feature of the exposition of 1898 was the illumination of buildings and fairgrounds through the use of thousands of electric light bulbs, which were powered by the General Electric plant that was custom-built for the fair. The World's Fair also featured a visit from President McKinley, the Indian Congress with Apache Chief Geronimo in attendance, and Buffalo Bill Cody's world-famous Wild West show. Today, Coons Memorial Park in North Omaha is the only place in the city that commemorates the time when Omaha was the center of the world in the summer of 1898. You can find out more about the World's Fair of 1898 by visiting these websites. This has been an Omaha History Minute.
Hello, world. I'm still Carol Rogers, and you still you. We're happy to be together in this medium. And I'm happy to be with my sister from the Holy Mister. That's a cute way to say it. I didn't say that last time, but I'm trying to get all in. Hey, did you recognized her from the clip from the still that they showed earlier, but you have to really look. She is a chameleon. She's an actress. She is so talented. She blends in, and
so sweet.
No, it's the truth. And if I believed in the next life, I would want to come back and be you. But I'm so glad that is just maniacal nonsense in my head.
Right? No,
because
you
do
be
you so well.
No,
you do you so well.
well.
And I am just so grateful that this comes after the Omaha History Minute, because you embody Omaha history and respect here in Omaha in a way that many Omahans don't, because wow, you've kept it real even through hard times here in Omaha, and I have to move quickly to a thought, something that I know about you. You became my hero. Your family became my hero when you moved from North Omaha to West Omaha in the 60s?
Yeah, it was 66, I think. We moved at a time when there was no integration in the city. But my father worked in Boys Town. We needed to move west, and my parents were basically trailblazers, and they said we need to move west. So somehow, and I'm not sure exactly how, they underhandedly were able to purchase a home on 99th and Manderson, when pretty much the end of the city was like 100th Street, and we moved in. Under the neighbors' noses, basically.
The end of most of our world back in that day was 72nd.
Right, yeah.
You didn't go beyond it.
Right.
So you guys became my hero, that you did this. And still you remained active, proactive in civil rights here in Omaha, your parents and you. Yeah. And you went to jail for it,
I
am
went
correct?
to jail, right. My parents, who were very active in the civil rights, they were part of the 4CL organization, which was an organization in town that was working to, fight for civil rights. My dad was the president of the Nebraska Urban League for a while, but they were very active. My mother, in fact, hosted Robert Kennedy when he came. She was something with the Democratic Women something or other, and it's hard to remember all that stuff now, what those titles were, but they were very active. But when I was in 4th grade, they decided, because part of what they were doing was instilling in us the understanding that you need to fight for what you believe in. So they were protesting the fact that there was no open housing in Omaha. You could not just move wherever you wanted to. And so they went down to the city council, and with our little picket signs and everything, went to protest that. They called the police. We all sat down because that was the days of the sit-ins, and we went to jail. And I went to jail at 8 years old. I have a record.
and that particular, there's a photo of you in your dad's arms.
Yeah.
Going into prison or coming out
It was
jail.
it was actually being marched to the jailhouse, and it was funny because it was a part of the Associated Press, which was the big deal then. So it went all around the country.
So you were a star at 8.
I was a star. Yeah, with cat eye glasses and braids.
Yeah, I checked out those glasses.
Right, I know.
That was fashionable back
I
in the
could have
day.
hurt somebody with those.
They're coming back. They're coming back.
Yeah, that's true.
But what I appreciate, so many of us have the tendency to think that once you move out of the neighborhood, you become a sellout.
Right.
That was never the case with you guys.
No, it was necessity was the reason that they moved, and they felt that there was no reason that they should be denied the opportunity to be from. He worked at Boys Town, so he's driving from. We were on 27th and Manderson. He's driving, every day out there. So. Yeah.
In inclement weather.
Right, exactly.
Yes, so
and the other thing too my parents were a part of fighting for was the fact that there was inequality in the school system. Mm-hmm. So I remember one time my brother, who was at Tech, was unpacking books, new books that they had gotten, and he opened them up, and they had names in it from schools in West Omaha. So the new books were the discarded books from West Omaha. Yes. So that was the other part. My parents were determined that we were going to have as good an education as the Omaha public school system could provide. And the only way that they could do that was to get us in West Omaha schools.
Infiltrate. Yeah. Defy the borders. No wonder you're such an amazing woman.
Well, I had some amazing parents. I really did.
Amazing people have come from less, but you had both parents who were amazing, and you are definitely, undeniably, an amazing woman.
Oh,
singer, mother, wife, actress. Let's talk about your acting. You went to Burke.
I went to Burke.
Was the acting scene that easy for you as you began?
The acting scene was pretty good. The music scene was a little difficult because I had a music teacher who just didn't. He would let me sing, but as far as being on stage and stuff, he wasn't real keen on that. In fact, he directed one of the summer musicals. I don't know if you remember, they used to do this all-city summer musicals where kids could audition from all over the city. Mm. And we were doing The King and I was playing Lady Chang. And he wanted to do this.
Lady Chang, you were going to go Asian on us.
Right.
I've seen you as a monkey.
That's right.
I've seen you as a monkey.
I've
seen you as a mother of 4 white girls. This is not negative. This is just the amazing versatility of this woman. I've seen you. You told me you played Evita. Now we've segued very quickly to your professional life. So forgive me for giving that away.
Oh,
but
that's all right,
this just tells me you didn't see the things. Take 2 is better than take 1. Keep talking, child. Keep talking. Let's go.
Well, so when we were doing The King and I, he decided that the scene with Run Eliza Run, the whole Uncle Tom scene, which was, this was in Asia, so they do everything in that white.
The white paint,
yes. Yeah. He wanted to do it in blackface.
Oh, no!
Yes, he did. So, and this was like, the week of the show opening, and so I walked off, and said I wouldn't perform. And so, of course, it was too late to get another person to come in, so he had to give in to that. But those were the kind of things I dealt with, And then also my senior year, they were doing the musical Guys and Dolls, and I had auditioned, and I got a speaking role. And I was confused because I'd done all these other parts, and I sang all the time. But my drama teacher came and told me that I didn't get the part because he said a black girl wasn't going to kiss a white boy on his stage, and she wanted me to know that, so it didn't deter me from pursuing the thing that I wanted to do, which was music and acting.
Now, help me to understand, because I'm a Trekkie. Had Captain Kirk kissed Uhura by then?
He had.
Oh, now that's a hot mess then.
I know.
That's not right.
I know.
Well, we live in Omaha, and we continue to go on because, we have to. We're progressive people.
Right, exactly.
And you're being an actor, actress.
Yeah,
all of them is. You're just so versatile. I hadn't gone to the Playhouse ever in my life. I left for 40 years. Okay?
Right, yeah.
But I'd never gone to the Playhouse until I went to see you in Speaking Our Thing.
Having Our Say. So we're talking about having our say.
Having Our Say, Speaking Our Thing. Whoa, I need a teleprompter. Okay, that was amazing. There was a lot of dialogue.
It was so much dialogue. It was just two people.
And
it was
me and my sister, true dialogue.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Playing the Delaney sisters. And the tricky part of that was that they had video and still photos behind us to go along with what we were talking about. So you couldn't just lose a line and go someplace else. You had to stick with, but we couldn't see it, so it was difficult. It was probably the most difficult thing that I think I've done.
Yes, but look what you won.
I know, I won a
I
big
got a prop. Inside here it says, she's not only beautiful, she's so very incredibly talented.
Right.
I can't read upside down.
I know.
It probably says stuff like that.
She should dust it.
I ain't doing no housekeeping. You do housekeeping?
No.
What's the purpose? No. It says she's wonderful. She won this from the Playhouse.
Right.
What was you were best?
Best actress for the season.
And you've won this more than once.
I have. That's my third one. And I've won a
Are they
couple of
that
other
big?
ones. Well, there have been different sizes over the years because I
Is this
won one
bigger?
for this one is actually smaller than one, but bigger than another one. So I don't know how they determine what size they're going to be every year. And then I have a smaller one that's a supporting actress one for Ragtime. I did Ragtime, and I got the.
You were Evita Perón.
I was.
How was that?
It was awesome.
Oh my.
It was really good, but it was one of those roles that, as time went on, I wished I could have done it again because I think I could have done it more justice later in life. I was 31 when I did it, so I don't know. I think there's a lot of life experiences comes into your ability to portray, different characters.
Was it difficult to be a gorilla at the Rose?
No,
A girl gorilla.
I know.
Yeah.
It wasn't because they didn't require me to walk on my haunches because I couldn't.
But you loved little Tarzan. That was so wonderful.
Yeah, it was a lot of
These
fun.
roles. I mean, I would like to think of myself. Every singer is an actor to some extent.
Right, absolutely, yeah.
Instead of just saying words, we will take the music and use it as the backdrop and the impetus for our emotions. I'm really trying to set up a clip. I'm a little comedic too. I probably could never ever. I've done some acting.
I know.
Mad kudos to you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I will not be consistent. And you have to be consistent. Every run means you have to do it the same way each time.
Yeah.
That takes a discipline that I don't think I possess. So I'm setting up this clip, and it's me doing some jokes. My sister-in-law is the coolest woman ever. Love her to death. Matter of fact, I love her so much, sometimes I call my brother-in-law, and she's my sister. She's just the funniest. She's just the best. I'm grateful that my brother married her. Anyway, they have some interesting discussions. Sometimes she lets me in on the funny ones, of course. She told me the other day that, they have a routine. They've been married now for 30 years. 30 plus years, they have a routine. This one does this one does that, especially when they were working, you know, they had their routine. This one does this one does that. Coming home, they have their coming home routine. He takes out the garbage, I do this, he washes dishes, I watch that. You know how couples do when things work well, as things work well. Well, he decided to change up the morning routine. Normally he gets up and he makes the coffee and brings maybe a roll to bed or a roll to the bedroom because, you know, she's busy, you know, making the bed or stuff. So she wasn't too happy with that. Wait a minute, this works for our flow. Don't change up anything. He said, no. And besides that, the Bible says, wives, obey your husbands. Well, you know, my sister-in-law, she probably cocked her head and say, what? Look, it's worked for years. You go do your thing in the kitchen. While you're doing that, I'm making the bed, I'm putting on my makeup. Why are you changing? Said, because I can, and you're supposed to do what I say. She said, look here, let me just tell you something. She went and grabbed a book. She said, again, I can tell you that the Bible says you are supposed to make the coffee. She opened up the book. Titus, Philemon, Hebrews. Oh, that was funny. She didn't know what she was talking about. He misquoted the scripture. This stuff is funny. Okay, I'm over it.
Me too.
Yeah, okay. We're back. Hi, this is the Carol Rogers Show, and I'm with my amazing friend. It wasn't a commercial break, though we did break up some things. Okay. All of us have a life's journey.
Yes.
We're on one. I really don't like the term journey. This is a personal thing
I
because
don't
it's
like
so
journey
overused.
either. I agree
I call
with
it
you.
a trajectory
Right,
because it's
yeah.
upward and over.
Right, yeah.
And where it lands, I don't like to think of it coming back down to earth. But going with that vernacular, the Lord has taken you through a journey, but I think it's more like a cul-de-sac. Some people run into dead ends. It wasn't a dead end for you.
No.
And that was your diagnosis.
Right, which I call it my triumph. Is
Yes.
what I call it. So
That's why I look at it more
Yeah.
like a cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
You went through it, but you emerged and,
Yeah.
and keep going.
yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah.
you maintained a better sense of humor than I just exemplified through this. You began as you lost your hair, which is when I met you.
Right, I was bald.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you also sang with your
With my port.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
nothing was something to hide.
No.
Unless you had a part to play.
Yeah.
I'm talking too much. I want you to tell
Well-
me about this. Forgive me. Watch me.
Well, I got diagnosed in 2012, and I knew immediately, you know, God had it, so I never even worried about it or questioned it or anything. In fact, I was scheduled to have surgery, and God basically told me to cancel that surgery, and I did. And He took me on a whole different route because the way I was going was not the way that He wanted me to go. But I postponed the surgery. I ended up at a different doctor who put me on hormone blockers to try to shrink the tumor, and then we got to 6 months down the road. It was like December, and she said, well, we have to do the surgery. And she asked me, because she was so understanding, because I told her my whole reason for canceling the surgery, and she said, well, what is that voice telling you now? And I said, I believe that voice has given me over to your care. So she said, well, we need to do surgery. I said, well, I don't have any time. So she wanted to do it in January. I had to postpone it till April because I was doing a show. Wow. So it's been like this. I do a show, I have surgery, I do a show. Having our say, I did it, and then I had reconstruction. I just finished Little Women. I'm having surgery next week, you know, for more reconstruction. So that's kind of what it's been doing like the last few years. But I never even questioned it or worried about it or thought about it, because never in the Bible did anybody say to Jesus, will you heal me? And He said no. He never said no. He promised us healing. He died for it. So I just counted on it. And you know, when we go in before I'd have chemo, we would lay hands on the chemo machine and pray that the chemo would affect only the bad cells and leave the good cells alone. And that's exactly what it did, except for I wanted to lose my hair because I was curious as to how it would come back. And this is it, so I don't know.
It's beautiful. It's curly,
It's
crispy,
pretty.
crunchy, wonderful. But you still straighten it. And the clip that we began this segment,
Yeah.
this show with, shows the versatility in your look. Girl, I saw you as a gorilla,
Right.
okay? Where do you go in the midst of all this? You were a gorilla. You were the most beautiful gorilla I've ever seen in my life. I've seen them. They throw stuff at you.
I know, yeah.
We don't want to
yeah,
talk
no,
about my zoo experience. Okay, I'm back.
I have one I have to tell you sometime.
Okay,
yeah,
probably off screen.
Right,
All right. But I mean, I talked to Mike Kelly about something very sensitive that he had been through.
Yeah.
Your cancer situation is a triumph.
Yeah.
And I saw you on the cover of 60 magazine.
Yes.
Yes, and you weren't even 60 when they did that.
No.
I know,
right.
that's not fair.
That's right. They called me, it's Omaha Magazine wants to do an article. Okay, and then they saved it till I turned 60. I'm like, did I want everybody to know I was 60? Not that you can't tell, but still,
But
I'll be
still,
playing grandmas for real from now on.
That's putting somebody on blast.
Right.
They're not supposed to be put on. A woman who wants to not hide,
Right.
but we want to not make it an issue.
Right.
There we go.
Yeah.
But it was amazing. You had a sense of humor during that time.
Oh, absolutely.
Hey, who is Nikki Monaghan?
Nikki Monaghan was the name of my bald head.
That's when I met you.
Yes.
I met you. You rescued me.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I wasn't like in
No, you
peril,
weren't,
like,
right, no.
Help. But I didn't have any friends. I was just coming to Omaha.
Yeah.
And you came to a play and you never do it twice?
I never do it twice. I never go to a play twice. And I went twice. And you were there at the second time.
So beautifully with this beautiful bald head.
Oh, well,
and
thank you.
That's how we got to be fast friends.
I know.
So,
well, we both stood out. You have that beautiful look, and I had the bald head, and we were like, oh my gosh, Carol, Camille, I remember you.
Thank you. Who's Chia Rivera?
Okay, so Chia Rivera was when I started growing hair. So it kind of had that Chia Pet look.
Oh, girl.
So I called her Chia Rivera, and then she turned into Frederick Douglass.
Now, see, I disagree with the Frederick Douglass because, I have seen some people with the Frederick Douglass. It's all up on the top, kind of like, what's the name of that boxing promoter?
Oh, Don King.
Don King,
yeah.
Frederick Douglass had kind of like this
it kind of went
on.
back a little bit. That's why I was naming it the Frederick Douglass.
I guess I need to brush up on my black history. See, you're more in tune with this sort of thing than me. But I took offense to Frederick Douglass. He doesn't look, well, I guess Nicki Minaj and Chia.
Right.
These are, but just for you to take a light heart at this.
Well, it was fun. I mean, it was actually fun because as you're bald, to see the different reactions from people. And I actually blogged about it on Facebook every day. I would talk about my experiences, and I've turned it into a book that's going to be out in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for reminding me of that because I read that in the magazine.
Yeah.
And see, unless I didn't know how many awards you had won, and that you're writing a book. And no wonder I don't see you as often as I want to. Girls are busy.
Right.
Delete. No, you probably don't delete. You just keep going.
Well, there's something that to delete, or I have to reword it.
Reword it. Spell check helps, but you better watch out for spell check.
Well, no, I know.
It's a bad thing. But when are you expecting that this will be released?
It should be done in a couple of weeks.
Do you have a publisher already?
I self-published. Because I knew that it wasn't a story that a publisher would pick up because it's really about faith in God and what he can do. So it's not really about
a publisher?
me.
I mean, Dr. Carson's gotten books published and
I didn't want to wait for that, because I think it'll be good help for people that are going through stuff, and I'm perfectly happy to pay for it to be published so that because I plan on putting several in like chemo rooms, so people, it's an easy read, so people can just read it and hopefully build their faith while they're going through. Yeah, that's the whole purpose of it. And
how did Facebook help you? I mean, I'm just rebuilding my Facebook.
Yeah.
By the time you see this, all of this shows will be on Facebook because that's going to happen. It's important to use this medium, and it helped you through this triumph that the Lord had you.
Exactly, because I was able to. One of the things I wanted to do was first show how God can take you through anything. And secondly, really report on what happens when you have cancer. So that's what I did. I talked about my doctor visits, the things that were going on, and I just put it on Facebook. I have 2,500 friends. So it actually reached across the country. I had people that contacted me from New York and from California who had relatives that were going through that. Would you write them a letter? Would you give them? And I did.
Wow.
And I reached out to them because I knew that this was why I was going through it. I knew it wasn't to death, and if it was to death, who cares? I'm saved. I got the Lord. I'm going to go to heaven. You know, it cracks me up when people say, well, it beats the alternative.
Yeah.
No, you don't know. The alternative from what the Bible says is way better than what I've got going on now, so I'm not afraid of it. So Facebook was the perfect medium to really talk about what God can do and what you go through with cancer.
And to bless people with your experience.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that I'll be diligent to blog with my Facebook people. I will be, because
you will.
You're an inspiration.
that
you know, that interchange is really important. Now, it's very important that for my viewers to see this clip of Camille singing your theme song. Somewhere over the rainbow. And we get to see you in your beautifulness. That's my own word. In your beauty, with, you know, your bald, beautiful. And undaunted, you had sunglasses on your bald head, girl. It's like, okay.
Now, they didn't always stay up there.
You know,
they keep going.
But it was beautiful. I definitely want to be able to have time for you to see just this snippet of your singing this song. It's quieted the mouth of loquacious friends of mine, so I'm really glad to maybe to show this to the world. She sings this song so beautifully.
Oh, well, thank you.
And the raindrops start to tumble down. Heaven opens a glory lane. When all the clouds darken up the skyway, there's a rainbow highway to be found, leading from your window pane to a place behind the sun, just a step beyond the